Hey guys, so in this video, I want to talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with esoteric or, supernatural stuff or whatever. It's all simple physics. But I just want to talk about this because it's very important for our career. It's very important for our mindset. It's very important about the things that will happen in the future. Of course, you don't have full control over the future, but a certain part you have. And this can decide over, basically your general future. So let me talk about this for a second here. Again, this has nothing to do with something that is supernatural or esoteric stuff, or, like I'm trying to wish something from the universe. Hey, give me $1 million. And then the next door, the post guy rings, hey, here's your package, and $1 million. But I want to talk about how thoughts shape or create reality. And this is actually a pretty simple thing. So let's assume you are here. And then we have this typical topic about, AI kills the music industry, for example. Okay, so what will happen if you have this mindset, if you constantly think about this, if this is something that you're worried about, and this could be replaced with anything. You have reality over here. Let's say this is the entire spectrum of reality. I don't want to talk too much about the extreme stuff, but here you have, new opportunities. I just want to kind of like use some, let's say these are opportunities, right? Here we have a next job. Here is a fail, whatever that is, right? Here is AI. So there are all kinds of bubbles of topics and events and opportunities that are happening in our life. Every day, every second is like the reality in front of us. So right now you have this thought, I'm completely worried about AI kills the music industry. What will happen when old monks or monks in general, or this law about mantras, when you hear about this topic, most of the time you think about stuff like Om, and just trance and meditation, all that stuff. But mantras happen on a daily basis. When you have a specific picture about yourself that you tell about yourself, or that people around you tell you, I don't want to get into too deep psychological level, but it could be your main, let's say the main educators. It's not always the parents. Sometimes have been the grandparents, or whatever situation it is. But as a standard, let's say our parents told us, our surroundings, we live in a small town. There were like older people, if you do this, blah, 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 this will happen. There is like all things that influence you. You always shape your reality from stuff that you hear from the outside, right? And then based on all these not opportunities, all of these opinions that you hear, you base your reality. You just have, your reality is just a very specific spectrum. Let's say what you hear from all of these sources create a reality spectrum that is not like the entire reality that is out there, but just a very specific part of it. It doesn't have necessarily to be this part, right? It could be a snippet from here and a snippet from here, snippet from here, but you get the idea. Some people are more open-minded, meaning they are criticizing themselves a little bit more, thinking a little bit more, and trying to also twist, the metal and twist the coin and see also what's on the other side. Or if they think about this, about a specific person, they turn it around and also think from the other point of view. How would this person think about me? I'm not talking about second guessing here, which is an entire different topic, but if you feel a situation was fair or unfair to someone else, or why did this person say it was unfair, you also want to view things from the other person, right? So it could also be like this big, but we never have the 100%. Most of the time, it's probably just like this, right? Because we have been shaped, we have been, taught all of these things, and they shape your reality. So you have a specific set of thoughts. There are negative sets of beliefs and there are positive sets of beliefs. And depending on what you heard, let's put it like this, taught or heard in the past from your parents, from school, from whatever, they shape your reality. And this goes right like into all extremes. If they tell you it's okay to beat women, for example, then at some point you start thinking about, yeah, okay, that's cool. Where's the problem? This is not a solution. If you have people telling you, you can work on your goals, whatever dreams you have, make this your daily mantra, think about this all the time, then you can win and you can reach anything. Don't let this disability or this handicap or whatever that is, that stuff be in your way, right? And then there are other things like, oh, you have to believe in this, or you have to do this, or you have to do this, otherwise blah, 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 blah. So you have this specific set, and then you hear about something like, you are already in that position where you say like, you have this specific fear towards the unknown because you don't know what is happening, because maybe decisions have been made for you or whatever the cause is. But if you suddenly be at this point, and it's pretty easy actually to get over this, but you have to work on that. But I want to get to that point about all the stuff that is in your way today. So when you, for example, say or hear all of these threatening stuff about AI kills the music industry, the more you have this as your mantra, which is negative, we leave outside if it could be reality or not. Right now, nothing is like happened for the music industry, but you just kind of like only pointing to these events. Oh, there is something. Let's assume this was an article how bad AI is or how AI did something. Then you see one person in a forum out of 1,000 members complaining about AI, right? There is another post about AI. There is another something that you hear. Then there is like an expert predicting the future in 50 years, but we can't, or 100 years, but we can measure this in our brain, or what is 50 or 100 years from now. You can count the seconds, but then you would need 100 years. But you get the idea. You just kind of like think, oh, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. And then you get into the selective cognition, which is the effect of just focusing on all of these things. And what is now happening, your entire reality is this, and this is a summary of these things, right? This one here, this one, this one, this one, this one. And now these things, let's compress them together, right? This entire thing here is your reality. And only because you're just focusing on these things, it is the only thing that your kind of like your visual spectrum, you're just having like, let's say like peaky blinders on the left and right. And what you are doing is like laser focusing. Oh, there's another bad thing about AI. Oh, here's another bad thing. Oh, here's another bad thing. And it's a little bit like the symptom, what you can explain about, when it comes to like thinking about kids, you only see pregnant women walking through the city. If you break your leg, for example, you suddenly see people wearing casts, with broken arms, broken legs. You see like people walking on, how do you say, like, is it called the word crooks? You know what I mean, when they just humbling or kind of like going through the city with basically they had a broken leg too. So this is like you have this selective cognition suddenly only about pregnant women, people suddenly in a wheelchair because you had one for like 2 weeks. Suddenly your entire reality is like changing all the time. And this is basically what's happening with reality if you just focus on the bad things. And it doesn't have to be necessarily AI. It was just one example. It could be like selective checking social media and compare yourself all the time. You just compare yourself to other composers, or there is a guy that is better than me. There is a guy that is who's better than me, right? This may be somebody who's better. This is somebody who's better. Who is better? Who is better? Who's better? Because there is always somebody who is better. There is also other stuff here. Oh, that was the rubber. I'm sorry. How do I get on different colors? Let's pick them here. Right there is, for example, which is positive for you. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say, but basically here's someone who is not that good like you, somebody who's behind. I mean, if we just keep it with the comparison things, this is not what you see. You only see that, these. You only see the people that are better than you. Better. So then your reality shapes into this other thing. Everybody is better. I'm the worst. You know, because you're not paying attention to these. This is like a filter happening. You kind of like, our brain is very great at just filtering out the positive stuff. If you want to focus on all of these things, everybody is better, this guy is better, this guy is better, then your reality turns into everybody is better. And this is how thoughts can shape or can turn into reality. So what is happening then, I'm just deleting that. If you need to check at this, you can always go back, of course. But what is happening now is this is your, reality right now. And you have like all of kinds of things here, right? All of these selective things that are happening that are bad. Everything is bad suddenly. And then you're always focusing, or the only thing that you do is like focusing on all of these things all the time, and suddenly you will only see the bad stuff happening. And this is putting you in kind of like a downward spiral that goes deeper and deeper until the point when you say, okay, I give up, for example, or it's not worth it. I'm not worth it. I suck. I don't, this is pretty terrible, but you can train this. You can just try to check only and to make your reality. I'm not saying about ignoring everything in the world. You always have to be aware that there is terrible stuff happening in the world. And depending on what country you're from, there is, let's say, more or less terrible stuff happening right now in your country. There is terrible stuff happening all over the world. But if you take control over this shapes your future. If you're just watching news, for example, all the time, you get into this mindset thinking like the world is completely bad. The world is just like a mess. You're getting, so much bad stuff and horrible news all the time that this is shaping your reality. But if you, for example, check studies about how life improved, about how well in general we are, I don't want to say like, fatalities happen, this is not what I'm talking about. But if you just check in general about our increasing age, about medical research and all of that stuff, just things have become better. And what I want you to do, just for your own sake of rescuing your brain, your mindset, everything out of this entire thing, is focusing on the good stuff, and that would be basically stop comparing yourself. For example, don't compare. How do I do this? Because it's a negative thing, compare, right? You just selective cognition towards, all kinds of worryful things, worryful things. You want to get rid of this. You stop want to compare yourself and turn this absolutely instantly into something positive. And this is something you can learn. If you see somebody who is a good composer, winning some award, whatever, everybody's sharing awards and projects and blah, 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 blah. You just simply go, great, I'm happy for that person. I truly am. And then you suddenly step into dog poo when you just leave the house, and you instantly start saying, this is a shoe. This is not your heart, or this is something like somebody shit in your brain, right? This is, you just stepped in dog poo, and maybe it's new shoes, and you just have all these thoughts about what happened from the situation. These are new shoes that you just bought. They were $100. You worked very, very hard. Somebody's questioned your intelligence by who let this dog poo out. This is stuff that you don't do. You get into this red tail of all of the negative stuff, you know, and of course we all do that, but there is like, and it's very important to do that, right? But at some point when you get past the pain, you have the control if this stays for an hour or for 10 minutes, or if it stays for a few seconds. And if you turn this into, oh my God, you know, it's shoes. I can put them into the washing machine and I just clean them and then everything is good. You don't even smell something. It's something that you can quickly clean. And of course, there are more situations. Maybe you are on a hurry, you're just leaving the house. And that means you not paying too much attention to the moment. You're just already with the thoughts on the date that you have or on the meeting, whatever. So you don't see the dog poo. So it's like your own brain being in the future already, but you're not being aware in the moment right now. So you would have you would have seen the dog poo and stepping over it, but then you cursing around not because of the dog shitting there, because it's just dog shit. It will rain. Somebody will probably come and clean it, and if not, it rots away. Of course, it stinks, right? You can do it yourself, but you wouldn't do it. Blah blah blah. But at the end of the story is you would be angry about yourself. Why in the first place you did step there? This is basically the true thing that is kind of like happening in your brain, right? And of course, I'm with you. You know, if I see like dog poo in front of my door, like, why can't this person just clean up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I own a dog, right? But we are having a dog living with us, I should say. But I just want to talk about this mindset. Nothing happens in this moment when you just pour out all of this hatred. And I know sometimes venting is important, but you're just pouring out all of that stuff into the world. The only thing that is happening is you're just causing your blood pressure to go up and your heart beating faster, and you're just basically hurting yourself, right? You just want to find a solution for this problem, but all you do is, from a mental point of view or from a clinical point of view, or in terms of your body, you're just hurting yourself by just venting. You're just bringing yourself a little bit closer to a heart attack. And of course there is a lot that needs to be done to get to that moment, but you know what I mean. And it's also something very helpful for your mind, and what I want to get into for your entire future. So if you, instead of thinking like, I'm not worth it, say, so yeah, just have a bad day. Maybe I think I'm not worth it, but in general, I know that I can do it, or I know that I will get there. And the same thing happens also here. Let's do another one for the saturated market. This is like, oh, the market is so saturated. It doesn't make sense to get in there. You didn't even try, or you tried, or you thought you did everything. So you just want to get into this and say, like, I'm working on this. I'm trying to get into the saturated market, right? And there are many points that you can work on, all kinds of negative things. But in this sense, it's always a good thing to just get rid of the negative stuff and turn it into something positive. And right now, when you just cleaning this again, when you just, in the end, you see this, you suddenly see your mindset, right? Completely changing. So if this is your reality and you focus on all the good stuff that is around you, suddenly the world, disregarding and how much terrible stuff is happening, becoming a beautiful place. And then you're just staying open-minded to all of the opportunities that will happen. And if you stay open-minded to positivity in general, you can compare this also when you just, walk out on the street and you just, you're just a happy person, walking, and then somebody approaches you and you simply say hi, no matter, just, hey, how are you? And this person smiles at you, and suddenly you affect this person with a good mood. I'm just coming up with some example, but maybe this person thinking about somewhere in the area hiring someone for his business or whatever. You just passing this person, maybe you see that person every day, and suddenly you get into conversation, and then you maybe meet a little bit. You kind of like getting into a relationship in the, at least like from the meeting aspect, maybe later on into a business relationship. You just talk about it, and then this person says like, oh, I'm looking for somebody who I want to hire. Oh, what are you doing? Well, I'm a movie producer. Oh, that's cool. I'm a music composer. Sorry, I'm a video or a film producer. And then you say, oh, that's cool. I'm a music composer. So maybe we can meet. Yeah, of course. Cool. Let's have a coffee. And then on the next day you have a meeting. So think about this, by only deciding to have the thought of smiling towards someone, there is suddenly a job opportunity and maybe a friendship. I'm just putting money up here because I just want to be as realistic as possible. We all need money to make our living, right? So I always put money in a very high priority. You have all of these people saying like, yeah, but health and friends and life and happiness is so much more important. Yes, of course it is. But how awesome it is to not think about to invite your entire family to Paris or to Haiti or kind of like an island and have breakfast together, an unforgettable week. Your entire family will talk about this. Yeah, I know it's possible without money, but you get the idea. So you just constantly want to expose yourself to the positive stuff. Also, if you have toxic people around you, maybe this person is, should do this different because we don't want to override a positive event. Maybe there are just a few negative things happening. I've recently seen that on Facebook. I had a discussion with someone. I had to block that person because he was telling I'm faking my testimonials. I'm not delivering anything. When I charge money for my program, all of that stuff. But this is usually just a few things, a few people that are negative, a few negative opinions. But you just want to kind of like, you don't want to surround yourself with these people. There is no need to discuss with them. They are just here to just destroy you, like in a mindset thing, a mindset point of view. They just want to destroy you. Maybe they had a bad day. They don't know how to deal with their problems. So they're just venting. They are just throwing the dog poo that is in front of their door and trying to throw it at you. You don't need these people in your life. It sometimes means like completely separating from someone. And then you just want to positively focus on all of these, or focus all of these positive things that are happening, and this will shape your future. Suddenly you will become more successful. Suddenly you will become more self-confident. Suddenly you have like all of these opportunities coming along. Suddenly at some point you start making money with your music, and you're getting like even more positively affected. Suddenly you just kind of like, you have so much positive energy in you, and I experienced that myself from the past. I don't want to unpack my entire life, but I have been at a stage where I was like, no self-confidence, completely. I didn't understand the women's world, for example, how women think and all of these stuff. And then I just worked on myself. I just tried to get more self-confident, try to see the world in a more positive light. And then I kind of like, and then suddenly you move up to this scale, and suddenly there is like all of this positive stuff happening, and it will happen more and more the more you surround yourself with the positive stuff. And that means in the end, it's very easy to understand. Yeah, just think about the good stuff. Okay, point taken. It's very easy. The problem is to know when you have to apply this. You are maybe in a bad mood. There is like this one person shitting and nagging on you. This is the point to think like, this is the moment, this is the moment right now where you have to turn this stuff into positive stuff. And then you think, maybe that person is just having like a bad day. I don't have the time. I have better stuff to do. I'm sorry for that person. Poor guy, maybe something bad happened to them, but I don't want him to unload all of that stuff into my life. and then you just distance yourself from that. Maybe you unfriend this person, maybe you block it because it happened for the 10th time or something. This person is trying to shit on you. And the more you expose yourself with positive stuff, the more you surround yourself with all the positive people, then at the end, your entire spectrum, your reality becomes something like a very positive experience. And of course, there will be bad days, right? There will be like a day sticking out here that is completely terrible. Then there will be like a terrible thing happening, a loss in the family that will happen. There will be something where you get like shouldn't make this too big, like it's just a bill, you know, it's just money that you have to pay, right? There are always kind of like negative stuff happening, but the root of it all should always be, yeah, but I have this positive foundation. I know that these days are bad. I know that there is like, you know, clouds over here, but there is always the sun, since I'm in a painting mood, right? So, but there is always the sun shining, right? No matter how cloudy the entire sky is, the sun is always there. Currently, you know, the clouds block the sun, but you know it's there, and you know that at some point the clouds will move away and suddenly everything turns into something positive. And this is what I would always keep in mind, what I would train, what I would get into this. And of course you can, you know, feel free to always hit me up if you want to learn more about this all, but it's just very necessary to just get into this mindset, simply because you only have two choices. You just go down, you destroy yourself by surrounding you with the negative stuff all the time, or you just at least try and give it a go to just lift yourself up and getting you in a positive mood and questioning the negative stuff that you talk about and try to turn it into something positive. Oh, I have this bill to pay in 4 weeks. Well, it's 4 weeks. It's fucking 28 days that are still in between us. There can be so much stuff happening, so much opportunities happen during that time. And in the end, you reach these 4 weeks, you pay the bills, and suddenly you make twice the amount of money because you're just sifting out all of that negative stuff and focus yourself on the positive. And I think this is very important, if not the entire, you know, foundation of everything that we're going to do. And if you keep this mindset going, then you will not only have more success, you will make more money, you will have a happy life, you will be calm, you will be worrying less. And it's just basically all happens with the thoughts that you put into this world that shape your reality. Okay, so I hope that video made sense. I drifted off a little bit here and there, but that's just me. And yeah, have a great day, guys. And remember, the next time something happens that is not entirely positive or something negative, try to see the positive side of things. And again, I'm not talking about losses, you know, all of the stuff that life throws at us. I'm just talking about the stuff that we can influence, that we can take control over. There is some stuff that is happening outside of our control, but on the other hand, if this is stuff that is outside of our control, why then worry about it? Because you can't change it anyway. But on the stuff that you can change, or if you break down these tasks of something that seems impossible, you know, you can take little things and work on it and turn this into a positive thing, and then shit will work out sooner or later, definitely. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and take care, guys.